You're taking a video of this now.
I need at least
See how
one.
passionate I am about this.
So there you go. I'm going to drop that somewhere in the middle of this entire recording, just how excited he is.
Yes, the biased wrecker. A group member that ruins the bias list, and you have to completely start over.
This is actually far less animated than him.
Here's the cutesy thing I was doing earlier.
Except he was doing it with weird eye batty things. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn this. 30 seconds is enough.
Welcome to episode 14 of Two Dumb White Guys. My name is Paul Davidson.
And my name is Scott Norman.
And today we're going to be talking about K-pop, but more specifically we're going to see whether or not K-pop is a discourse community. That you all requested the K-pop episode, so I've decided to teacherize it a little bit, but we will still K-pop it up. Trust me, I have a bias list. Calm down.
What's a bias list?
You'll find out.
Okay.
Once we get to the Lexi. But anyway, as I was mentioning, I'm going to teacher it up a little bit. One of the things that you're required to do in EN100 through CMO is write an essay called a discourse community essay, which is simply an observation essay. And what they're asking you to do is go out and look at a group of people and observe how they are a discourse community. And there are certain criteria that a man named John Swalls has established as a discourse community. And what are they, Mr. Norman?
So there are 6 things, and I don't actually fully know what these things mean. So I'm going to be the question asker here. But we have, number 1, a common goal. Number 2, ways of intercommunication. 3, feedback. 4, one or more genres. 5, lexies or jargon, and 6, threshold of membership. So start us off, when he says common goal, I mean, I think I get that one, but tell us a little bit.
Well, before we even jump a little bit further in that, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think the K-pop industry, like the people that make K-pop, that is a discourse community. The fandom, which is, I feel like what a lot of our students wanted us to dive into, I'm not 100% sure. I think that's more of a maybe. They might be more of a speech community. Some parts of K-pop fandom might be a discourse community, and some of our students might be a part of that, but I think for the most part, they're part of a thing called a speech community. But, so a common goal. So the common goal is essentially saying that they have one goal that they need to accomplish. And often whenever I teach this in the EN100 class, the easiest thing I can point to is teachers. Teachers meet all these criteria because we are a discourse community. We have a common goal. What is the teacher's common goal?
Educate the student.
That is essentially what the common goal is. And so I feel like for the industry K-pop, the common goal is, of course, to make money.
Yeah.
But for fandom, that's where it gets a little bit different. It could be possibly to make K-pop more mainstream, like cross over into the mainstream, make more people aware of K-pop, or it might the common goal might just be to appreciate and just love K-pop in general.
To enjoy K-pop.
To enjoy K-pop. So that would possibly be their common goal. And then you have the next step.
So the second one is ways of intercommunication.
And in a traditional discourse community, this would be like trade journals. Like we have teacher trade journals that we could subscribe to and read about different ways that we could become better teachers. Mm-hmm. What would be the trade journals-esque thing for intercommunication between K-pop members, or K-pop fandom and K-pop people? Well, in the industry, that would be Ganyo, or Gano, or Gaon. Gone. Which is essentially...
Gone!
Which is essentially... You know what Billboard magazine here is in the United States?
I do.
They're the ones who kind of like do the charts for the record industry.
Yeah.
That is South Korea's Billboard, is Gaon.
It's also a call if the baseball goes over the wall.
In South Korea, baseball is a very popular
big
sport.
thing.
Yeah.
They would get my joke. Listen to me, South Koreans. I'm funny.
But because K-pop, the industry K-pop has that trade magazine, that makes them a discourse, that checks that box for them. Fandom, it's actually a little bit different. Social media would be their means of intercommunication. So we're talking about YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter, Reddit. Those would be the things that will allow the K-pop fandom to intercommunicate to further their goal.
No more chain emails? Is that... Too old for the K-pop community.
There might be a K-pop chain email out there.
All the 45 plus age group of the K-pop lovers. So third then would be feedback. What are we talking about? Feedback, is that going to the artists or like?
Yes, basically feedback would be like, all right, here's our common goal. Here's my idea for this common goal. And the feedback would be, all right, here's what I think is right. Here's what I think is wrong. Here's what you could do better. Here's what you could do, and probably not do again. That's the type of feedback we're looking for. And so for feedback with the industry, which you would say this is a good thing, would be like awards, once again, gaon, and the labels that they had, like the different music labels that K-pop has. That would be the feedback, because the label would be like, well, we liked that album, but we didn't like that single. We like that would be the feedback that they would get.
Okay.
Fandom, I guess, would be once again goes back to social media. That the feedback would be the comments within the social media.
Now, would you count like whether or not they're buying like albums or songs, whether like the view counts? And
that
things
would
like
be,
that?
and that's the thing I actually have written down, is that the social media can also be feedback for the industry. So the fans can provide the feedback for the industry and be a part of that discourse community, even though if they're not a part within that wall, they would be participating in the discourse, because the record labels would be able to see, oh, you watched this video 10 million times. That shows that this is a good thing. Let's make more of this.
I just have to ask, does Gangnam Style count as K-pop?
It does, and as much as they hate it, as much as K-pop fans would probably be like, no, much like Psy when he's
Gangnam
screaming
Style.
at butts.
Yeah.
It is technically K-pop because it is Korean pop music.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about that. Like, talk about feedback. Like, I feel like for K-pop, now this might be jumping ahead a little bit, but I feel like for K-pop, that was the moment when it crossed over into the United States. Like, I never had a student mention K-pop until post.
I'd actually been aware of K-pop before Psy, but basically, here's how I would explain it. For the industry, that was a major thing for them for feedback. For K-pop fans that have come of age a little bit later on, and even K-pop fans during that time, that might have even been like a dividing line, being like, maybe we don't want to be as mainstream as this because this is not what we like about our K-pop.
So it created hipster K-poppers.
Yeah.
I like K-pop before Psy was cool.
Hey, I go all the way back to Rain.
Yeah, I don't even know what the heck that.
Rain. Here's Rain.
Unless you mean Chocolate Rain.
No,
because that's what I think when I think YouTube and Rain.
Not Taezon. No, Rain was this Korean pop star that got on Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People, and he was one spot ahead of Stephen Colbert. And this is whenever I first really got an idea of who K-pop was.
Did Colbert start talking about it?
And K-pop, and Colbert was like my arch nemesis Rain, and he even recorded his own K-pop song, which he called Singing in Korean.
I need to look this up.
Yes, you would love it. Our students would hate it, or at least our K-pop students would hate it, because like that's not the K-pop I like.
So we'll come back to, at some point, I'll just throw in my only experiences with K-pop somewhere in the end. But for right now, so we have feedback. The next one is one or more genres.
So that's different ways to accomplish the goal. That's different ways of getting to the goal. So genres for us as teachers, like you're a social studies teacher, I'm an English teacher, we try to get to student learning through different ways that we teach them. Mm-hmm. And so that would be the different genres for us. For the industry, that would be like music, like you could look at K-pop as a music, K-pop as a culture, different artists, the producers, those different, each of them have different jobs in trying to accomplish that goal. That's how the industry would be. So
you're not talking genre, because when you say music and genre in the same sentence, you're thinking like country versus rap.
Where K-pop would be the genre.
What's that guy, Horses and Back Roads, that just got pulled off the country chart? All the kids know what I'm talking about because they keep asking me to play this guy.
I know who he is. I'm spacing on the name
Lil
of the song.
Nas X or something.
Yeah, it's Lil Nas. It's Lil Zane.
And then his whole thing, that was just making fun. It was some video game. And it's just clips from the video game, and he's singing about how he's on a horse, and now there's this huge...
Red Dead Redemption, man.
I believe so, yeah. And then there's this huge argument about whether it's a country song or not. Anyway, so those are the things that I think of when I think genre. I'm thinking like those types of genres. This has nothing to do with that. It's all K-pop.
It's different ways. It's all K-pop. It's just different ways that they go about trying to achieve the goal.
Okay.
And with fandom, that actually would be even... I would say... Fandom has a clearer genre range than the industry does. Industry is positions kind of, but K-pop fandom, you have people who love K-pop just for the choreography. You have people who love K-pop just for the fashion. You have people that love K-pop for the music. So they actually have genre down a little bit more on point than the industry does.
I will say I have a student that at one point I walked by, she had finished her work and she was watching K-pop and didn't have headphones plugged in, anything. She was just watching it on silent. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "They're pretty."
I would say I have another, like, before I move into my bias list, I have an explanation of why I feel like K-pop is such a popular thing within our students, and it being a visual medium, I think, is one of the bigger reasons why.
Okay, so there's genres. That brings us into 5 lexis, or jargon. Same thing, right?
Yes, lexi or jargon. There's a specific language that this discourse community uses.
So lexis would be lexicon, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And so this is probably going to be where we're going to spend the most time talking about this. When I originally made the call to action for the K-pop, one of our students, one of our listeners, linked me to SYJ's official video, 15 K-pop terms you should know, K-pop University episode 1. I believe it was actually Land Dude 101. He mentioned it in the comments.
Okay.
And so we have 15 K-pop terms. So lexis and jargon, yeah, they knocked that out of the park. Like, they got themselves that, which is part of the reason why I feel like it might be a speech community for our for fandom. But let's go through these terms, and this is where you're gonna.
I'm gonna have no idea what's going on.
Okay, so the first term is fandom. What do you think fandom is?
Fandom, that's which band you like.
Yes, it's groups of fans dedicated to a K-pop group. That is,
Okay.
So it's like they're not groupies, but yeah.
I'm a member of the fandom for BGA by Ryan Higa, his band, Boys Generally Asian, BGA.
All right, now here comes the next one, and this is where I'm going to butcher it because it's been over a week since I've done my research. Aegyo.
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 Yeah, an Aegyo, yes.
Eggo waffles.
That's not what it is. Aegyo, it means being overly cute or innocent. Like playing up how cute or innocent you are.
Oh, so like bands do that, or the people do that?
Bands do it. It's members of the K-pop group that do that.
So that's why they wear like little kiddish looking.
Traditionally, it's the maknae that is the one that is acting Aegyo. And Aegyo, and people act Aegyo all the time.
Guys, okay, this is the first episode where I legitimately think we need a face cam because you need to see Davidson's face as he is saying these things and trying to look cute. You need this on video.
Aegyo. I'm being Aegyo. So Aegyo is being overly cute or innocent, and often it is that fingers to the face thing and kind of stuff like that.
And he did that. Well, before warning me, he's giving me big batty eyes.
Oh, trust me, it's all I watched so much K-pop during that one afternoon when I did the research for this that most videos do the thing with their fingers on the face to be Aegyo. And you can be Aegyo and not be, and I'm probably butchering the term.
I need to record this.
Yeah. You can be Aegyo, and you don't have to be in a K-pop band to be Aegyo. K-pop bands use Aegyo, but you don't have to be in it to do it.
That's just being cutesy.
Yeah, if you have a crush on somebody, you would act Aegyo towards them, of course.
I need to get a camera right now.
All right, so our next term, of course, is maknae, which is MAKNE or NAE.
All right, I'm going to go with that means how well you orchestrate your group, like how the mechanics function.
Maknae is not that. It is the youngest member of the K-pop group, which is the reason why they are the cutest or Aegyo-ish.
This is weird.
Yeah. Or often, it's not necessarily they're going to be cute. Sometimes the maknae is the mischievous one.
Oh.
Because they're the youngest, so they don't know any better.
So this is like a soap opera. This is like there are set roles
inside the K-pop. Yes, inside the K-pop band, there are set roles.
So each group has roles as if these are all crappy daytime dramas.
We haven't even scratched the surface, man. We haven't even scratched the surface.
All right, keep going.
All right.
Take me to the next strangeness.
Bias.
Bias. Okay, so when he kept mentioning bias and bias lists, and I'm thinking bias as in like I do social studies, so we look for author bias in various forms of media. So if you have the Democratic National Committee chairwoman writing a dissertation on why the Republican Party has failed, it's probably biased in what it is critiquing. So that's what I think when I think bias. When you say bias, you mean
Your favorite. That's it.
Oh,
Your
okay.
bias is your favorite. Your
Okay,
favorite.
well, that's-
But then you have your ultimate bias. And what do you think your ultimate bias is?
your favoritist.
Yes, your favorite. And that brings us to number 5, which I've already used, your bias list.
So this is just your top 10 list.
Yes, your list of favorites. That is what your bias list is. But then you get into this, your biased wrecker.
What is that? Is that one that's like trash? Is that one that's like terrible?
No. A biased wrecker is a group members that ruin the biased list. So most of the time, I didn't do my bias list based on group members because I honestly don't care. But you basically are ranking your favorite members within the group, and so your biased wrecker is one that changes the list.
So one that is so terrible that it pulls the group down.
No. They're so good that you had to redo your entire bias list.
Oh gosh.
They're so good. Like, they made a comeback, and I have comeback. Actually, comeback is the next one. They made a comeback, and now you have to completely redo your bias list. All those hours of work, gone. You're taking a video of this now.
I need
To see how passionate I am about this.
So there you go. I'm going to drop that somewhere in the middle of this entire recording. Just how excited he is.
Yes, the biased wrecker, a group member that ruins the bias list, and you have to completely start over.
This is actually far less.
Here's the cutesy thing I was doing earlier.
Except he was doing it with weird eye batty things. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn this. 30 seconds is enough.
All right. I mentioned number 7 already. Number 7 is comeback. What do you think comeback means?
So comeback would be a group that fell off your bias list and now it's back?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting good at this.
But it's quicker than in America, an American comeback. How soon do you think it needs to be in order for it to be a comeback in America?
Somebody who's disappeared for a year or two, somebody you haven't heard of,
and then they come back after.
Yeah.
Guess how long it needs to be in K-pop? Because K-pop is a vicious, just churning cycle of meat and stuff. It's a meat grinder, man. It's a meat grinder.
For the people who have been through my class, think The Jungle by Upton Sinclair. So
hey, that could apply to my class too.
So I'm gonna say, since you're emphasizing it so much, I'm gonna say a week.
It's a little bit longer than
a
month.
But
like a month or two. If you've gone a month or two and you have not released a song, then you've fallen off and you need to make a comeback. Like BTS apparently didn't release anything for 3 months. OMG, 3 months.
That's another one I needed recorded.
Yeah, and then they released a song or a crazy song thing, and then they made a comeback just after not releasing anything for 3 months.
So literally, if you're in not BTS, and if you're in K-pop in general, you're literally releasing every month. This is not a yearly cycle.
Yeah,
like
it's
a Tay
cranking.
Swift that can drop for 3 years and is still queen of the game.
Because they focus more on singles, not albums.
Okay.
They focus more on just one song instead of a whole album worth of songs.
I gotcha.
That's the reason why. All right, our next one is the OTP.
Oily turpentine pond.
The one true pairing. So, what do you think that means?
This sounds like a food dish. Like
no, it's not a food
wine
dish.
and cheese, the OTP, bacon and anything.
Okay, so in K-pop, you have boy groups and girl groups, right?
Oh no!
And so
are they shipping them?
Yes. The OTP is you shipping like 2 people and be like, they are the OTP. They're the one true pair of that. And because we live in such a gender or a sexually fluid society,
oh gosh,
you could also OTP members of the same band. Anyway, let us continue. Rookie. What do you think rookie is?
Oh, just somebody who's new to K-pop. Somebody who's a K-pop listener, but they don't know me.
No, you're not a newbie. Or you're not a rookie.
A new band?
Yes, it's a new group. New groups
Okay.
are rookies. And apparently, every year you get these rookie groups coming in. You get these rookie groups coming in every year because much like in our country, how we have like television shows for like The Voice, American Idol, which we focus on one person. In Korea, they have television reality competitions where you're trying to become a part of a K-pop group. And then once you finally successfully do that, you become a rookie group.
Oh. Okay, so it's like lots of people trying to join the same. It's not like groups competing against each other. It's like 100 people getting cut down to 5 to be the group.
Kind of.
Okay.
It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the simplest way I can
Like
explain it.
Big Brother meets AGT.
Yes. A sang-sang.
That's what you do when you want to make music. You just sang.
A say-sang. S-A-S-A-E-N-G.
Sang. That's what you do when you want to make music. You sang.
They are another way that you might be familiar with it is, and this is a newerish term, a stan.
Okay, I've heard that's like somebody who's a diehard fan of something.
Even further,
Oh, that's scary.
a stalker fan.
Okay, a stalker
Yeah.
fan.
And like SYJ did an excellent job of like breaking that down, and like there were people like people are weird and they do some weird stuff.
So I have to. Is that where the term "standing" came from? Because when I hear
Standing
"standing"
came from Eminem.
That's what I was going to say. I think Eminem when I hear the term "standing."
And that's where standing came from, and that's the Americanized version of the term.
Yeah.
But sang sang is how you would say it in K-pop.
All right, creepers.
Number 11, trainee.
Somebody's learning to be in K-pop.
Yeah, someone training to become a K-pop artist. An entertainment company.
What? I mean, that's the record label.
Yes, and there's 3. Actually, there's more than 3, but there's the big 3, and they always start off their thing like YGE exclusive or something like that.
Just so you know, we also do ASMR
in K-pop. So you have 3 major. I'm
gonna stop. Yeah,
We have 3 major recording labels. You have YJE, SME, and JYPE. So those are the 3
Sounds
big
like
ones.
a jip.
But you also, have. We're so close to being racist there. You also have a bunch of other smaller labels too, but those are the big 3.
I was thinking as in like getting gypped, not as in not.
That's a racial slur.
No, it's not.
You get gypped by whom?
Oh, gypsies.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
even
racist.
Think, I didn't even
You
think about
racist.
that. Oh gosh.
I better rename. This is no longer the K-pop episode. This is the Mr. Norman is racist episode.
I legitimately didn't realize that's where gypped came from.
Yeah.
I don't even know it's spelled the same.
Yeah. Mr. Norman's head just exploded.
Yeah. I'm sorry if there are any gypsies listening. I apologize. When you find this as I run for president, I did not mean it. It was meant in a different context. Anyway.
Oh, no. Trust me,
start-
this podcast has already ruined either of our chances of becoming a
I was going to
public
start talking
official.
about Peter Buttigieg jokes, but nobody would even get them at this point.
All right, fan service.
Fan service. People who are nice to fans.
Anything a K-pop idol does to please their fans.
Okay, so it's like signing things.
And for BTS, most of the time that's flashing their abs.
Oh gosh, I feel so awkward.
All right, number 4. We're almost done. We got 14. We got 2 more. Next one is fighting or hwaiting.
Fighting or
Hwaiting.
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 It's the opposite of deloting.
Hwaiting is this is SYJ that showed me this spelling. HWAITING.
Hwaiting.
Hwaiting. Or fighting. Or hwaiting.
What? It's when they got beef?
No. You hwaiting when you're cheering someone on. And often you'll do it with your fist.
Yeah, the fist is going crazy over
Yes.
here. Davidson is just
you're
fist
cheering someone
pumping.
on. You're hwaiting them. So you're cheering them on. No, they're not. There's no beef involved. You're just cheering them on.
Oh, all
And
right.
then you have oppa.
They provide us food.
They do provide some food. This one is the creepiest one.
I had a great sandwich from them today, by the way.
This one's the creepiest one, believe it or not.
Opa?
Yes.
I have no idea. All I'm thinking is food.
Opa is the Korean term for older brother, and in K-pop, it's used for flirting.
Oh, why did they use older brother?
I know. It's weird. It's weird. All right,
This is in Arkansas. I'm sorry if you're listening from Arkansas.
I'm not. Bring it on, Arkansas. All right, that's the end of the lexicon and lingo.
Oh gosh, good. I'm glad we are done with the lingo. That was getting weirder by the minute.
And we have one more category.
Oh, one more. Okay, I thought you meant one more lingo. I was like, wait, I thought we were done.
No, we're done. We got one more category.
All right. What is the next category of information I must know about K-pop?
Threshold. Oh, for Discord community.
Oh, for Discord. Oh gosh, we're still on Discourse community.
We're almost done. This is the last one for
That's
Discord
right.
community.
So threshold of membership.
Yes, and this is basically identifying who is a member and who's not, and you need to have a balance between new and old members. Because if you have a discourse community of a bunch of old members, it's no longer a discourse community because it's not going to continue to push forward towards the aim, and eventually it will die. So you need to have a good balance of new and old members. And so within K-pop, of course, you have trainee, rookie, and experienced. And so those are the three areas that you would be able to identify as members of the, like, you're a trainee because you're trying to become in a K-pop group, then you're in your rookie group, and then you become an experienced group.
And then you graduate to Bollywood.
No, why do you keep being so racist, man?
Wait, why? How is that racist?
Bollywood's India. This is Korea.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You graduate to the next one. You move on.
You move to the next subcontinent?
Yeah, and then after Bollywood, you graduate to...
all of Asia's exactly the same.
No, I was going to say then you graduate to American pop. You're the one being racist, insinuating that this had anything to do with physical location in the world.
And I'm getting a phone call.
There's people calling in to make sure that we are, okay in here, yelling from the closet.
Last but not least, and then finally for fandom, this is not well defined, but it does exist considering you have people like us who are just now familiarizing ourselves with K-pop, and of course you have people who eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. So there we go. Is K-pop a discourse community? The industry, yes. The fandom, I'm not 100% sure.
Either way, I'm terrified.
All right, now we gotta get to the granddaddy of them all.
All right.
So K-pop, from all my research of this, K-pop is essentially the late 90s-ish, early 2000s-ish boy/girl band phenomena that but it's amped up by 100. Like whenever we were our students' age, that was around the time, and so you had like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys.
This is NSYNC on steroids.
Yes.
Okay.
And basically it's that like that. And I've always had this. So basically, like it's like a soda fountain machine. American thousands pop music, that's the soda. K-pop is just straight syrup. It's that condensed. It's that condensed.
So, do they ever have Justin Timberlake's?
Yes, they do.
They have people that spin off into their own, just one person?
I don't know if they go solo. I don't know how well that works, but they do have like occasionally chances where they get to be solo, if that makes sense. They do have solos where they were able to. They're still a part of the group if they're singing just their song.
I see. But they're still a part of the K-pop member group.
And I've always had the theory that the reason why we've seen like a big rise in like American teens' love of K-pop is that here in America we have not provided them with this valuable resource that they need of teen idols. We haven't.
We do. They just end up shaving their head and going to prison.
But, like, think about it. When was the last American boy band group you can think of?
I mean, those from the 90s. I can't think of any.
Even a couple years ago, we have one student who's a senior who was obsessed with One Direction, and they were British.
Yeah, there's no...
there is this need in the universe for teenagers, specifically teenage girls, to latch on to attractive young singing men.
Glee is the closest we've come, I think.
And that's even that's not necessarily apples to oranges. Anyway, at the end of it all, it's not from...
what's it called? The High School Musical. That's been our filler.
That's even still like a decade. That's a decade ago, man.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Zac Efron's our age.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
He's actually older than you.
That was enough after like my time though that I
gotta keep in mind anybody that's on TV playing a teenager is in their 20s.
Yeah, that's true.
So
anyway.
Anyway, at the end of the day, K-pop is not for me, but it's still an impressive thing. K-pop is more of, I also think that K-pop's more of a visual medium, and you have this like K-pop's arms race that just keeps on amping up stuff, and it's
By arms race, you mean the part where they flail their arms back and forth as the camera changes angles?
No, I'm talking about like Cold War arms race. Which label can be the most powerful?
Who is Zarbamba?
I do not know what the time. Anyway, so one of the things we got asked to do was a bias list, and so and we actually had like 10 videos suggested to us. Actually, I think it was like more like 12 videos that I watched every single one of these videos. And so I ranked them from 10 to 1. Then so this is my bias list.
Okay.
Number 10 is BTS, Love Yourself. As I described it, depressed bad dye job guy.
Depressed bad dye job guy.
Yes, this guy has a horrible, like, he bleached his hair and it does not look good, and he's just sad. And I feel like this is one of those solos where each BTS member got a solo, and I only watched the first video because I'm not going to dedicate myself to half an hour of BTS. And so that's my number 10 is BTS Love Yourself, depressed bad dye job guy.
All right.
Number 9, Red Velvet Bad Boy.
It sounds like a cake that gives you stomach pains.
I described this one as Korean Ariana Grande.
Does she have the ponytail?
No. All of these are groups of people.
Oh.
All of
so
these
it's
are
a bunch of Ariana Grande.
Yes, it's a bunch of Ariana Grande.
Ariana muy grande. I broke the list. He's not going to be able.
All right. Number 8.
This is gonna be your favorite part of this episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Number 8.
Mostly ladies listening.
All right. No, okay. So
Just on this episode,
okay,
not just saying in general.
Okay, BTS is a boy group. Red Velvet is a girl group.
I would hope.
Number
given that
8.
You called them Ariana Grande.
Number 8. Number 8 gets the award for the strangest video I watched.
Okay.
All right, so
That's probably saying a lot.
yes. This is Got 7 and Just Right. And the reason why it's the strangest video is I described it as K-pop fairies in a little girl's room. It's like this
Is this
little...
dudes or girls?
These are dudes.
That's even weirder.
It's like she's a 13, 12 prepubescent-ish girl, and she's like has like this dollhouse thing, and these guys show up, and they're talking about how she's just right, which is a good message, I guess, but just it was weird.
It's a little weird being delivered by older K-poppers.
Yes, when they're about 3 inches high. Yeah, that was by far the weirdest of, and they just did some weird stuff. Like they did some weird. It was a weird video. It's the strangest video I watched. All right.
I don't even want to know the details. We can just move on to the next one.
Number 7, Stray Kids Questions.
What's the name?
Stray Kids is the band, and the name of the song is Questions.
Sorry, I misheard you as Straight Kids.
No,
And then
Stray
the
Kids.
and then the band name was Questions.
No. Stray Kids is the band, and Questions. Like they're just stray kids.
Like, where's our family? Is that some of the questions?
More like the. All right, and I describe Stray Kids Questions as bro down in the park.
Bro down in the park.
Yep.
So this is. I'm picturing them with chaps and sombreros.
No, not that type of bro. Like what's up, bro?
Okay, well, I'm just thinking hoedown because you said
No.
bro down.
No, these are just guys that are broing down. They're hanging out.
Okay.
They're chilling in the park, and they got Nerf guns. And
Are
they're
they
just
like
swinging on
they
swings.
on scooters?
No, they're not.
That's my era. That's 90s era. You had the little kick scooters and you're doing little kick flips and stuff on the skate park.
Yeah, but it's just like a bunch of dudes just like hanging out in a park.
Okay, that sounds chill.
All right. 6 and above, I actually think could cross over to American. They actually like catchy. Like I, of course, didn't understand the lyrics to the song, but outside of using subtitles, but just they were catchy enough to where I was like, hey, these could probably cross
Okay,
over.
so if your favorite music was from 10 to 6, sorry.
All right, you have NCT Black on Black. And so there was this meme. No. And this meme called that talked about if Batman's so rich, why does he have to rent out his garage to all these bands? The garage in, I think, the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight Returns, where it's like the lights in the ceiling and the big empty space and the Batmobile. And basically there's a bunch of bands that record videos in a similar looking space. Essentially, it's one of those. And NCT is one of those trainee groups, and they're not necessarily a rookie group. It's just a bunch of people that are training to be K-pop people that recorded this song, and it's just them dancing. And then it's like black on black, something, blah, da, 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 da. And so it was kind of all right. Number 5.
I thought you were actually going to say that like it was a song about Batman, and I was going to be like, okay, that's interesting.
It's not.
Okay.
The dance moves in NCT Black on Black was probably the most interesting thing.
Okay.
Number 5, EXO Tempo.
EXO Tempo.
It's tempo, or something along the lines of that. It has a very catchy chorus, and I called it a spy movie.
A spy movie.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, BTS Fake Love.
Like Paper Roses?
I guess.
Paper Roses.
And this could have some more interesting things to unpack, and the way I described it was Museum of Modern Art.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. And so, like, and honestly, Fake Love, actually, I feel like was a decent song. So there you go, BTS fans. Jungkook has been avenged.
Jungkook.
Number 3, Super Junior La Siento.
Why are they saying it in Spanish?
This is probably the best song of all of them, too.
It's a Spanish K-pop song?
It's a Spanish K-pop song. They took this Spanish artist, Latina artist, and she came over to Korea and recorded the song with these guys. And it's actually probably the most interesting set, like probably the best sounding of all the songs.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is interesting. The crossover.
And the way I describe this as is blue dress and all of her boyfriends.
So they're all attempting to woo the one girl.
I guess like that's the best way I could describe it was blue dress and all of her boyfriends.
So, man, that's interesting. I'm trying to come up with a term for that.
It's like it is it has some English in it, but
Yeah.
it has super heavy Spanish influence, and they even sing a little bit of Spanish, but the rest is in
Kanglish
Korean.
pop.
Yeah, that's the best I could go. All right, now we're going to my top 2, and yes, they are. All right, and I am a heterosexual male. It's not that I find them attractive by no means.
Oh,
but
okay. Well, now
they are two. They are two girl groups.
Okay.
So of course, all of our students, BTS is their number 1 on their bias list. Everybody knows that.
I bet you we're gonna have some comments about that not being true.
All right, number 2, Blackpink, da da.
Is that the whole song?
Da da. Blackpink,
da-da.
and they start off with Blackpink. All of their songs start off with Blackpink, da da. And so as I call Blackpink, I say that they are better Ariana Grande.
Ooh, they're actually better than Ariana Grande is?
I'd put them about the same level.
Oh, okay. Well, you see, you're backing up.
But we got to keep in mind that earlier I had Korean Ariana Grande.
So they're better Korean Ariana Grande.
Yes.
I gotcha.
They're better Korean, and they had they had a bunch of weird stuff going on in their videos. So like that was interesting. I actually didn't get recommended the number 1 video on my list. I actually went to the r/Kpop subreddit, and this was the number 1 thing that was posted when I went to all-time links, and this was Twice Likey Likey.
Wait, is the band name Twice?
The band name is Twice, and it's Likey Likey. And I think they start off their songs with Twice, or something like that.
That's 4 times.
And yeah, it was the top
They could have
one.
just named
And
themselves 4.
this one had interesting like camera usage, and one of the things I liked about some of these videos is just how they would move from scene to scene. And since I think K-pop is more of a visual medium, I feel like Twice's Likey Likey was the best use of that, because the camera will occasionally bounce with them. It will occasionally it will flop. How they will switch scenes is a very interesting way they go about it. So I would say that my ultimate bias, I guess, is Twice Likey Likey.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make my bias list. It's too long. So the number 1 on my bias list, number 2 on my bias list is Psy. And number 1 on my bias list is BGA.
You're not going to include Rain and Stephen Colbert?
No, sorry.
Because you haven't watched those yet.
I have not. So there you go. I'll throw Stephen Colbert as 3 because it's probably, I just know, he's solid. So
there we go. There you have it. you could stop pestering us for when we're going to record the K-pop episode.
And I can
it has been done.
I can guarantee you that we're going to look at this view count in 3 weeks, and it will be lower than any other view count because it's K-pop.
But you say that now, and it's now going to be our most popular video.
If you like this, go back and check out our other stuff.
Anyway, so K-pop, not for me, but it is interesting, and I'm not opposed to like finding. If you bring me another interesting thing, I will look at it. But if it's more just sad dye job guy singing in the rain, I'm probably not going to watch it.
Da, 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 singing in the rain.
It's not that type of singing.
So yeah, I mean, I'll have to look through these. Now that you've listed them, I'm gonna have to go on and look at some of these things on the list. I know that we have some.
Even though it was weird, it was just so strange. The Got 7 Just Right video is just.
I'll have to look it up.
So bizarre.
Just for the sake of it.
It's just so bizarre.
It is interesting to me, like how much it has crossed over, and I do think that a lot of it has to do with probably the competitive and changing nature that you're talking about, that there's always something new and there's always some kind of like drama. And so I think that it does kind of fill the place of almost like a tabloid gap in what youngsters are looking at, what teenagers are looking at, because there was the era where we were following, the Beatles and all these different things.
Yeah, because in the 70s, 60s you have the Beatles, 70s you have like David Cassidy and all of them.
And then you get to the 90s and you got the boy bands, and then it just kind of trails off. Like there's not really that kind of stuff. And so I really do think you're right in saying that this is filling that kind of cultural void here. So the question is, when will it cross over? When will we have an American group that follows the template of K-pop and succeeds?
That is an interesting question, because I do feel like it's going to happen soon.
Yeah, I mean, because you already see, if you watch things like America's Got Talent and things like that, there are a lot of dance groups that dance to that style of music, and they're not doing the singing, they're just doing the dancing, but it's very similar styles. So if somebody got on like an America's Got Talent type TV show and they were a legit K-pop group where they could sing and do the dance moves, it might happen. So I think that'll be interesting to see when that crossover happens, because America is the great, just info soul sucker of the world. We take all these other things that are cool, we find them cool, and then we just absorb them like a Pac-Man or like the Blob.
We're the blob of culture.
Yeah, we're the culture blob. So it'll be interesting. That's where I think will be the true test of when K-pop becomes truly mainstream, is when in America, you either have a K-pop group that tours regularly, like a BTS.
Well, BTS is touring regularly.
It is in the United States?
Yes,
Okay, I was unaware.
So I would say that they are the first step into the breaking down of that wall. I wouldn't say necessarily they're like Beatles wildly popular, but they are seeing some success.
Yeah, I would say they're still like subgenre though. Like they're not getting major play on common radio, right?
K-pop has not had their Taylor Swift or Drake yet.
Yeah, they haven't had a breakout over into the true pop scene.
They don't even though I said they're Korean Ariana Grande, they still don't even have their Ariana Grande yet for us.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. First,
I figured it out. Ariana Grande is going to do a K-pop album.
There it is.
Her next album will be K-pop. In fact, some of her videos are kind of K-pop-ish, come to think of it. So yeah, I think she will be the one that will latch onto that. Although K-pop is more group-based, so you never know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. All right. Well, I think I definitely learned a lot more than I ever
Hope
knew.
to learn.
Yeah, and just the disclaimer here at the end for those of you who are saying, but wait, you didn't actually react to the video. No, we can't. We want our videos to be able to stay posted on YouTube.
Yes.
Article 13 has passed, by the way. A lot of these things are going to be cracked down on significantly. So we'll work on figuring out things. Once we're big enough that we can, ask labels for permission, then, we'll go ahead and do that. But we're not there yet.
Yeah, we need to get bigger. Anyway, until next time, my name has been Paul Davidson.
And mine is, and Lord willing will be, Scott Norman.
And we have been two
dumb white guys.